Being in self-quarantine, like many of you, I spent more time on social media. And it seemed that wildlife was ready to return to our deserted cities. Or in several countries, like Mexico, human access to the beach was closed. So there was a rare opportunity for wildlife to enjoy some beach time. Here we see a map indicating a change in the number of humans visiting nature parks across the globe, where the change is calculated as a percentage change in the number of visitors during April 2020 as compared to January 2020, taken from Rutz and colleagues. The map seems to reveal two stories. First, that people in the US and Europe visited nature parks more often in response to the pandemic, while the number of visitors dropped in pretty much the rest of the world. Rutz et al. Proposed that the COVID-19 lockdowns could be used to quantify effects of human activity on nature. And while the pandemic may indeed offer several lessons, it does so in a social experiment that is far from clean. Lindsay and a small army of co-authors explore the expected effects of COVID-19 on the conservation of nature on the African continent. Lindsay et al. Write that even though researchers have documented some positive environmental outcomes of the COVID-19 pandemic, for example, reduced industrial activity and mechanized transport have lowered emissions and air pollution worldwide, these positive environmental outcomes are likely temporary and prone to reversal when travel restrictions ease and countries return to business as usual. We argue that the net environmental impact of the COVID-19 crisis in Africa will be strongly negative because the crisis creates a perfect storm of reduced funding, lower conservation capacity, and increased threats to wildlife and ecosystems. Lindsay et al. Describe how many of the protected areas in Africa largely depend on tourist income, which has run dry due to COVID-19, leading to budget deficits, eventual layoffs, and therewith weakened conservation on the continent. Lindsay et al. Also point out that the COVID-19 pandemic, like the SARS-CoV-1 and Ebola epidemics, likely originated from human consumption of wild animals. Olofsson pointed out that the cost of preventative measures to stop wildlife trade and deforestation would come at much lower cost than those of the pandemic. That is, the total investment would be 2 orders of magnitude less than the 5.6 trillion price tag estimated for the COVID-19 pandemic. More generally, Waldron and colleagues estimate that the benefits to cost ratio of protecting 30% of lands would be 5 to 1.